Hello, hello, little screamers. How are we doing? And if you're new here, hi, welcome. I am Nicole, and welcome to Scream in Style, where we talk all about horror and create looks off of whatever we are talking about. And welcome to the final video of this series of Final Girls. Oh, let me correct myself. Second to the last, because the last one we're gonna gather all of the Final Girls and pick a reigning champion, the ultimate Scream Queen Final Girl. And so without further ado, let's get to it, and here we go! First up, we of course have Sidney Prescott of Scream 3, and though her role was smaller in this one, it was really great to see her squaring up with Ghostface again, and unlike many others, survive. And it is safe to say that unfortunately this film, Scream 3, is one of the weaker ones in this franchise. But if you loved this one, tell me in the comments below. Was it weak? Was it hit or miss? Tell me. So at this point, Sidney had definitely cemented herself as one of the best, if not the best, final girl in the horror genre. She is a wonderful role model for women on the screen, showing you can definitely have the smarts, determination, strength, bravery to never be a victim again in your life, to take complete control and be a badass. I will say in this one they did give us a great line with Sidney whenever she's holding the gun in her hand, pointing it straight at Ghostface, and she says, "It's now your turn to scream, asshole." I love it. Pee pee, motherfucker. Love that line. And of course, she is going to be hard to beat in this ranking, but let's see who is up for the challenge. And move on to the other contenders. So, number 2, we have Clear Rivers and Final Destination 2, that came out in 2003. Despite her not being the main character in this film, she was the only girl to survive and appear in more than one movie in this franchise, so it automatically just made her stand out. And for not being the main character, she definitely solidified herself as being one of the more memorable characters in this franchise. For how well she took everything in stride, for her likability, as well as her intelligence. Her character in this movie was sly, mysterious, but trustworthy and sympathetic. However, like other memorable characters before her, it is a shame that she wasn't used in the sequels in the franchise, like Sidney Prescott, for instance, in Scream. But moving on from this brown hair beauty, we go on to a blonde hair beauty, to number 3 spot of Rachel Keller The Ring, done in 2002. Rachel is a single mother who is a very tough, dedicated journalist who begins to investigate her niece's death by, if I'm not mistaken, the mother herself. And what makes Rachel different is, unlike the others who did watch the tape, she doesn't let that fear hinder her when investigating Samara's past. And she becomes relentless when she learns Samara, and spoiler, I mean, if you haven't seen it by now, come on. Anyway, but she becomes relentless whenever she finds out Samara's mother is the one who actually murdered and discarded her at the bottom of a well. So all that Rachel really wants to do in the end for Samara is to be able to free her from that well, free her from the pain and the hurt to where she can finally be at peace. However, that is what set her free in a most horrible, horrible way. The villain is now unleashed. But that is for Ring 2. Another time, another video, that probably won't happen. So Rachel might not have had to fight physically, but emotionally, mentally, she did go through pure horror. And that, I think a lot of people would agree that that is worse than physical pain, physical injuries. That leaves a scar, yes, but the emotional and mental abuse is forever, and it's hard, and it's just, I will not go on a rant, but you know what I mean. Not great. So now on to our 4th final girl. We have Sarah Carter in The Descent, that released in 2004. This character is a really cool and interesting one because she broke the mold of the stereotypical final girl, as she is a morally gray character. A character I certainly hadn't seen much or at all during the 2000s. whenever I was growing up. So to say the least, it was definitely surprising, but also very captivating to watch this character. She was also one of the more relatable final girls we had ever seen due to seeing her mental state just deteriorate and spiral, which leads to her behaving erratically, as well as she did let her anger get the best of her. And because of all of this, she left Juno to die. Damn. However, after finishing the movie, would you be a morally gray character like Sarah? Or do you honestly think, without lying to yourself and being truthful, would you be a more selfless, valiant hero? Let me know in the comments. But on to number 5, we have Wendy Christensen from Final Destination 3. So just to be frank, there's really not much to say about this character, but I give her credit in where she lacks in memorability like Clear Rivers, she does make up for it with determination, toughness, and positivity in this film. And that's it. Okay, on to the next. Sorry. She's a beautiful gal, but that's all I got. So, number 6, we have Brenda Carter from The Hills Have Eyes remake. This final girl went through hell. She went through a doozy. Good God. I'd say she had experienced a higher level degree of trauma than most of the girls on this list. But her, along with a couple other members of her surviving family, she was able to get a bit of that sweet, sweet revenge at the end of killing the leader of the mutants. And it was rewarding and it paid off to see. On to number 7. We have Angela from Rec. She's a TV presenter who is down to earth and sympathetic, who ends up in a building holding a terrible demonic virus. She spans in the entire franchise, which is really great and refreshing to see. And along the way, she shifts into a more of an anti-hero character. However, in the 4th, she does revert back to more of her original personality, as you saw in the beginning. And our girl Angela stopped the virus from spreading. She saved the world. All by on a boat. And she is last seen with Nick in a cab, heading home. Done with the horror, done to go live a peaceful and free life. So good to see. We're here for it. I love it. Now on to number 8, we have Jenny Greengrass from Eden Lake, released in 2008. She is a nursery school teacher, where her and her boyfriend go off to the countryside. But their peaceful little getaway turns into a terrible turning of the tables where they have to survive a bunch of fucking hooligans. Teenage fucking hooligans. You know, shit-stained little asshole teenagers. She put up a great fight, but sadly, after narrowly surviving death many times over, you understand as the film goes on that this is not going to have a happy ending. This is a tragedy. This is a tragic story. You know how she's going to end up, and you're just anticipating, you're waiting for it at this point. Because the sad reality is, she never had a snowball chance in hell of coming out of this ordeal alive. No matter how hard she fought and lasted for it, no matter how hard we were rooting for her to survive. Rest in peace, Jenny Greengrass. Now on to number 9. We have Kristen McKay from The Strangers, released also in 2008. So this woman and her husband, or let me correct myself, her boyfriend, because she said no to the proposal at a friend's wedding whenever he asked. Sucks. But they were just plain unlucky. Kristen and her boyfriend are attacked by 3 masked strangers. For the simple fact of whenever Kristen asked, "Why are you doing this?" the girl said, "'Cause you were home." How is that not chilling? Fucking chilling. Shitty, not lucky. I don't even think a lucky rabbit's foot or a horseshoe would even help them out with their luck. But this movie is dubbed as one of the creepiest, one of the best home invasion movies. And of course, we root for Kristen to survive. Because like I said, it simply wasn't fair of what her and her boyfriend went through. The way she reacts and responds to what's happening to her is definitely relatable. And if you've ever been in a rocky relationship, or if you ever had experienced somebody proposing to you and you say no, you have to go back home with them in the home that you two created and have lived in. It's an extremely uncomfortable, just eggshell rocky territory. But because of that, that sets the tone in the beginning. You automatically, it pulls at your heartstrings and you sympathize. But our girl survives, and she just reaches out like Carrie's hand out of the grave to a little boy, indicating she's still alive. And now she can go off and find her actual true love. Love it. Alright, now we are down to the last, our number 10 final girl of the 2000s, and it is Christine Brown, Drag Me to Hell, that released in 2009. Christine is a cursed woman tormented by a demon named Lamia? So sorry if I'm butchering this pronunciation. But she is cursed because an elderly woman cursed her because she declined to help her. A little petty, but whatever, you know. Christine was also another one that broke the mold of the character and personality of the final girls, because she didn't always do the right thing. And in fact, she is quite selfish and definitely made questionable decisions. However, because of that, that made her a more believable protagonist. You know, she's not this innocent, pure virgin of a final girl who is trying and is portrayed as this shiny little hero. Because in reality, people are flawed and complex. And this was Christine. And there wasn't a line she would not cross in order to save her own ass. The demon did get her, and she is dragged to hell. And if I'm remembering correctly, because it's been a little bit since I watched this movie, I wasn't too broken up about it. A little, like a sliver of me felt as if this was deserved. She deserved this fate. Just a little bit, you know? Alright, little screamers, that wraps up the 2000s final girls. And it is time to reign the winner, the queen of the 2000s. My pick for the 2000s is Sarah Carter from The Descent. I am picking her because her character, her as a protagonist, is flawed, is complex. It is believable and relatable. Because we can say all we want when we're not in that type of situation, but the ugly truth is you will more than likely have to make ugly, hard decisions. Terrible, hard decisions like she did. And surviving a cave with some crawlers, impressive. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Who should have won this? Do you agree with me? Do you not? So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys have a marvelous rest of your day, week, month, all of it. Stay safe, be kind, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Oh, and I almost forgot. Here is a makeup look from one of the villains on this list.